What's going on, y'all? It is me, Jess, and I am back again with another video. So I know I've been MIA for a couple weeks, but y'all have been extremely busy. But now things are calming back down again, and I should be able to get back to the regularly scheduled program. So on episode 2, I want to talk a little bit about why people regain weight after losing weight, and one of my biggest fears after losing 200 pounds, right? So if you've been following my series, right, I pretty much talk about my journey towards losing 200 pounds, some of the things that I experienced, some of the things that I went through, and just some of the topics that people may not touch on, be familiar with, or may not say out loud, right? And after losing such a significant amount of weight, one of my biggest fears is gaining the weight back. And that could almost be a little bit dangerous, and I could touch on that a little bit more into the video. But I just want to talk about, like, the thought of regaining that weight again is a very scary feeling. And because I know it could happen, right? It is a little bit, I won't say debilitating, but it does kind of keep me in fear. You know, I do want to be a mom one day. I do want to have children. And I'm fully aware that, you know, with pregnancy comes weight gain. Or there could be a lot of different reasons as to why I may put back on weight that may be outside of my control. But what I do know is I don't want to be 350 pounds ever again in life if I can help it, right? And it's one thing to lose the weight, right? It's another thing to maintain the weight. That's a completely different ball game. And this is where consistency comes into play and how bad you really want it, right? I won't say it's easy for people to lose a few couple pounds, but it can be, right? And this is why people, when they go on these fad, you know, diets and extreme workouts, and they may lose weight for a short period of time, but then they ultimately go back and gain the weight again, it's because they didn't create the systems, they didn't have things in place to ensure that they didn't gain the weight back again. And being fully transparent with you all, my journey has not been straight through. I've had plenty of ebbs and flows in my journey. I've lost, gained, and I always talk about one of the pivotal points in my journey was when COVID came around, and I almost got back up to 300 pounds again. So at my highest weight, or the highest recorded weight that I have, is around 350 pounds. And the lowest I had ever got down to was around like 280, maybe 270. And I kind of yo-yo back and forth between them. COVID came around like everybody else. I gained the COVID 25, 30. And when I looked at the scale, it said like 297. And y'all, the look on my face and what I felt, because weight has always been a big thing for me, right? How big I am, you know, how I show up into spaces, if I lost weight or not. And then sometimes I didn't really want to come around because I knew that, like, my weight wasn't where I wanted it to be, right? So fast forward, when I saw the scale getting ready to read 300 pounds again, I said, oh, heck no. And that is when I made the conscious decision to lock the F in. I ended up signing up for this program where I lose a percentage of my body weight or a certain amount of pounds. And I had to put up a couple $100s to do it, right? So if I succeeded, I got my money back. If I didn't, then I pretty much forfeited my money. And y'all, I really wanted my money back. And not only did I want my money back, but I just really wanted to lock in, and I wanted better for myself. I got tired of being big and uncomfortable and not being able to move and maneuver in the ways that I really wanted to do so. So I locked in, and that's when I got introduced into weight training, y'all. I didn't even start weight training until like 2 or 3 years ago. And when I tell you, cardio is cool, but that weight training and that weightlifting, baby, is where you want to be. That is going to change your body the most. Not running, not the treadmill, and not the elliptical. Picking up some dang weights is what's going to be the thing that's going to change your body. Get into weight training. And I do want to talk about, throughout my journey, I've gained, lost, gained, and lost. And that's not necessarily a good thing. That's not to say that every journey is straight through or that it has to be. But I do want to point out that it can be extremely dangerous, or it's not, like, if you want to achieve your goal, yo-yoing up and down is not great for your overall goals and what you want to do, right? So as I talk about why people regain weight and why I regained weight and what was the final decision for me to just keep it all off, is I had to create the habits, y'all. Like, I knew what to do a little bit, but when I really locked in and I saw the results, and I saw how much I loved the way I was feeling and how my body was looking, for me, I would just lock in, y'all. I could work a 10-hour shift and be dog tired, but because I wanted it that bad, I would take my butt to the gym and go work out because that's what I wanted to do, y'all. I mean, it was to the point where I had a food scale. I was measuring all my food. Like, I was really locked in because I had goals and I had things that I wanted to do. So, yes, it is a big fear of mine to regain all of the weight that I spent so much time trying to lose. A lot of people think that my weight loss was something that happened overnight. Y'all, I started my journey in 2012. And I always say this, it is 2026, y'all. It is a marathon and not a sprint. A lot of people want to lose weight in 5 to 10 business days, and it don't work like that, especially if you don't have the habits, if you don't have the consistency. It is only a matter of time before you gain the weight back. And this is why I always tell people, don't go on a diet, don't do a fad thing, don't do a little, oh, I'm gonna just try intermittent fasting, or I'm gonna do this challenge, I'm gonna do that. You're bound to regain the weight back because you're looking at an end date in sight. But when you say, you know what, I'm gonna opt for a lifestyle change, I wanna switch things up, you're more inclined to stick to this for infinity, right? Or however long that you wanna go with it. Now, do I still go pretty hard? Yes, but not as hard as I used to, because one, I've achieved my goal. I've earned my right to be a little bit more lax than I was, but also two, I never completely hopped off the bandwagon or the consistency train that I was on. Now, am I on it? Yes. But am I pressing the gas as hard? Maybe not as much. But I don't really have to at this point, right? But if you continue to stay consistent and do what you need to do, then you too eventually will get to that point. And it just depends on what your goals are and what you want to do. So I'm going to talk about weight gain. And as you all know, I have my handy dandy iPad that's going to walk me through to make sure that I'm touching on all of the points to pretty much talk about why it's such a common thing, why this happens. So the first thing I want to talk about is extreme diets are very hard to maintain, right? This is one of the reasons why I tell people, don't do the fad diet, don't do X amount, like, don't do the challenge, or I'm going to give up this for that. I'm going to do this for 30 days, because guess what? After that 30th day, on day 31, you're going to go back to the bad food that you were eating, right? Because you're almost kind of counting down and anticipating, okay, when I get to day 31, I had that cake. Day 30, day 1 through 30, nah, I can't have that cake, but 31, and then next thing you know, on day 31, you ate a whole cake. And it's just still away all of the hard work you worked on for day 1 through 30, right? Another one is, I'll start again on Monday. I can't stand the I'm gonna start on Monday kind of person. Because guess what? If you keep waiting till Monday I'm gonna do this, or Monday I'm gonna do that, you're just gonna keep prolonging it. If you're really serious about locking in, lock in today, right now. What you waiting on? Why you gotta wait till Monday, right? So stop saying I'm gonna wait till Monday. Old eating habits can slowly return. So I won't say one of the most dangerous things, but something that can be pretty dangerous is once you've reached your goal, you feel a little bit comfortable. And that's one of the things, I try not to get too comfortable, y'all, because too comfortable can lead me back to waddling again. And I work too hard to be again, right? So what I'm saying is, you have to be careful about your eating habits and what you're doing. You have to set a plan into place. There's certain things that I would never let touch my mouth again as it relates to food, okay? Because I know what it could lead to. And plus, I'm pretty limited on what I can have anyway. So that just kind of makes it a little bit easier. However, you have to create systems in place. I do believe you can treat yourself, and you should. Treating yourself, for me specifically, stops me from binging. I always talk about this all the time. I would rather eat 2 to 3 cookies throughout the week than a whole pack, because I'm trying to deprive myself from something that I want. You work hard, treat yourself, but do it in moderation, right? Another thing is, as you begin to lose weight as you begin to lose weight and gain muscle, you start to become hungrier, okay? And I had to also realize this too. I had to stop myself from snacking, right? Because usually if a situation happens like that, Yeah, I'm hungry, but I'm hungry for protein. I need something with some sustenance in it. I need something that's going to really stick it to me, right? Not junk food, right? So in those type of situations when you are feeling yourself being hungry, replace it. Instead of getting some cake, make some ground turkey. Instead of getting some chips, put some kale in the oven and make kale chips, right? There's alternatives to things that you don't have to go back to that old way of eating. Another thing is that sometimes you just stop doing the work. You just stop putting in the work, right? This is why I would say it's important to be consistent, and why I try not to take too much time off. Let's just say I work out about 4 to 5 times out the week. I try not to miss more than 3 days of me not working out, because guess what? 3 days can turn into 7, 7 turn into 2 weeks, 3 weeks turn into, and next you know it's 2 months and I ain't touched the weight, right? It is important that you stay consistent, right? The theme of this video is consistency. That is how you beat regaining weight, right? Another thing is stress and major life changes, right? So we all go through things in life, and it can be easy to give into those things that we're going through. There are some people who may be emotional eaters, or some people who just eat because it creates comfort, right? I'm fully aware that there's some things in life that are beyond our control, but you have to put something in place that if you are going through something and you just got to eat on something, let it be fruits and vegetables and not cookies and cakes and fried chicken, right? So these are just some reasons why people do regain weight, and some ways that you can stop that, or not necessarily stop it, but kind of put some things or some barriers in place that so that you can be consistent on maintaining your goals. Now, throughout the years that I've really been consistent in my workouts and everything that I have going on, y'all, life has been lifing, and I've had some experiences that could have broken me. However, I use that motivation to truly lock in and to dedicate myself to creating a new body and a new life for myself. I could have channeled that energy into something negative, but I wanted it to be a positive. So this is me saying, although you may go through circumstances and things in life, there's different ways that you can do to get that out, like locking in a gym. If things are not going so great, let's say you don't have a gym membership, work out outside, you know, find some home workouts, go running. Like, there's just other ways to, I guess, give that energy to, right? Also, I want to say this. Regaining weight does not mean that you've failed, right? Especially as somebody who has been on a journey for a significant amount of time. Trust me, I've gained my fair share of weight, okay? And I don't want to shame anybody for gaining the weight. And it's not how hard you fall, but it's how you pick yourself up again. Stop letting, oh, I'm going to start tomorrow, tomorrow. Like, and just lock in and do it today. Create things in place so that you don't allow yourself to gain that weight back. You spent all of that hard work, loving your new body, fitting in the clothes, just doing certain things, moving throughout life with ease, and you want to go back to that. And then I'll also say this too. Sometimes, weight can be a little sneaky, right? You lost 30 pounds, and then, you know, in a week, you kind of slip up, and then you gain 5 pounds. You're like, oh, that ain't that bad. Then 5 pounds turn into 10. Next thing you know, instead of keeping off the 30 that you wanted to lose, now you done gained 50 and put on 20 additional pounds. You get what I'm saying? So I just want to say that regaining weight is something that is very normal. It happens, but you don't have to let that be the end all, right? You can do it. And I always say this, to an extent, it does matter on how bad you want it. When I wanted it that bad, y'all, I was in the trenches and I did not play. I did not play, right? There are people who do want to lose weight, but they're not that serious about it. Like, they really want to do it, but when it comes down to creating the habits to do it, then that's when you get the You get what I'm saying? So it separates the people from who really want it, from the people who really go out there and get it, for the people who just really don't want it that bad. Okay? Start today. Stop waiting. If you regain some of the weight that you lost, it is not too late to turn it back around. But you have the power to change that. And you have to really lock in. As somebody who did it myself, I'm telling you that it is very so much possible. It is possible, okay? So thank you for checking out episode 2 of season 2. I have some really great hot topics coming. Some really interesting stuff coming this season. So keep watching, and I do apologize for my absence. It won't happen again. But yeah, bye.